but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, Lord, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand. For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I feel the Spirit calling me, drawing me back home. Been suffering with my family. I know it won't be long. One day you're gonna look for me, think I'll be gone home. Yeah, Israel is calling us back home to Zion. I'm on my knees. I lay down my life. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength.
Test. Test.
Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. To Zion. I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, Lord, guide my path. Show me the way I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, Lord God, my path. Show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand, for a new heaven.
Shalom and Barakatham, peace and blessings. We are the Gathering of Christ Church, New York City, a family who adheres to the sacred laws of the earth administered to Christ down to his father's children of Israel, whom are scattered abroad. We would like to invite you to join us in our law classes, which are held every Sabbath beginning at 1 p.m. during the winter season and 2 p.m. during the summer season, under the tutelage of Regional Elder Gabar and leadership. Since nations are built on families, our focus is to awaken our people, bring them back to their original heritage which was once forgotten, and to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, together as one under Christ. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. Let's give the Most High his praise. Let's give all praise to the Most High. Ahaya. Bahashim Yeshayah Rawchaa Kwadash. Right, for allowing us to see another Shabbat. How's everybody in the room doing? Oh, y'all sound hungry and tired at the same time. Right, so Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters online streaming throughout the four corners of the earth. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and streaming on the Shabbat. And do me a favor, as you come in, hit that like button so all brothers and sisters can come in to the stream. So we're going to get, started as usual. We're going to go into the law. Everybody please rise. And we're going to go straight into Exodus, the 20th chapter. As a custom of our forefathers, as we do to bring in the Shabbats. All right, so this is Exodus 21. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Out of the house of bondage. Out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above. Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above. Or that is in the earth beneath. Or that is in the earth beneath. Or that is in the waters under the earth. Or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Nor serve them. Nor serve them. For I, the Most High thy power, am a jealous power. For I, the Most High thy power, am a jealous power. Visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children. Unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Most High thy power in vain. Thou shalt not take For the Most High will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath day. To keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land, which the Most High thy power giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Amen. All right, you may all be seated. Once again, Shabbat Shalom, family. And Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters online. We're going to continue reading out of the law before we get into tonight's lesson. But before we do that, I just want to ask, is everybody keeping up with current events? You guys see what's going on in the Middle East? There's all the strange weather patterns. You guys got to look it up. You know, things are still happening. There was a crazy, I would say like a flood that's happening in Iran right now, where the waters is just moving cars out the way. You understand? And these you know, the earth is crying out, so it's getting time. You know, pretty soon we're gonna see Zion. Pretty soon. So you know, just we got to keep the faith. You know, don't take any of these things as fear. You know, the Most High haven't given us the spirit of fear, but of hope and love and joy and all of that. Let's go to we left off at Exodus 2, I believe. That's where we left off. Yeah. All right. I'll just take it at Exodus 2. I'll start at verse 11. Exodus 2 and 11. And if I can I have, like, you know, the brothers fill up the seats, baptized brothers only. 7 verses each. 7 verses each. So Exodus 2 and 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou fellow? Verse 14. And he said, who made thee prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killedest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. And when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled their troughs to water their father's flock. Verse 17 and last. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, family. This is Brother Nazar, tribe of Levi, nation of Israel. I'll be reading Exodus 2 and 18. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, and where he is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass in the process of time that the kings of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and the cry came up unto the Most High by reason of bondage. And God heard there was groaning, and the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. 25 and last. And the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Brother Jimmy, tribe of Ephraim. Reading out the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, of the Most High, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Most High appeared unto him in a flame of fire, out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside, and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Most High saw that he turned aside to see, the Most High called and unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the Most High of thy father, to the power of Abraham, to the power of Isaac, and to the power of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon the Most High. Verse 7 and last. And the Most High said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, family. It's a blessing to be in the Most High's holy presence once again. All right, so Brother Yatazak, tribe of Benjamin, nation of Israel, picking up at Exodus chapter 3, verse 8. Good. All right. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto a place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivitites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Verse 11. And Moses said unto the Most High God, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt. And he said, Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, he shall serve the Most High God upon this mountain. And Moses said unto the Most High God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, then and shall say unto them, The power of your fathers has sent me unto you. And they shall say unto me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? 14 and last. And the Most High God said to Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. Amen.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Shalom. This is Gabar from the tribe of Benjamin. I'm going to read from Exodus 3, verse 13. 15? Sorry. And God said, Moreover unto Moses, thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, The Lord God of our fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generation. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, The Most High God of your father, the Most High of Abraham and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and see that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Aramites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt. And you shall say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrew has met with us, and now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Most High our God. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, nor not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hands and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof, and after that he will let you go. I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptian, and it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbors and of her that sojourn in her house jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And you shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and you shall spoil the Egyptians. Amen.
All right. Praise the Most High, the Water Brothers, for the reading. Let's give the Most High a round of applause. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. How y'all doing? Praise the Most High. Coming off the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I know everybody probably had a foot long or two this week. Doing abnormal things like, you want a foot long, sir? Like, make that 2 feet, right? But Most High willing, and that's not the case, but because it's a spiritual thing, we want to make sure we keep the leaven out, huh? All right. I pray that everyone was self-examining and making sure that leaven that we were practicing to keep out stayed out, because 9 out of 10 times, the adversary will attack directly after high holy days like that. And so, don't think it's strange if, this week was a little bit more trying, because that's how the powers that be operate. Coming off a high holy day, they try to put your spirit down. They come, they attack those around you, and so you got to fight to stay in the spirit, right? All right, so with that being said, Hazab brought something out pretty profound as well, as far as the time that we're living in and the prophecies taking place all over the world. If it's not an earthquake or a hurricane or something having to do with war and politics, they or them ramping up this vaccination stuff. I don't know if you hearing about that, but there was what's the town? I forget the town name. It's just upstate New York where they're Rockland, yeah, in Rockland County. They're trying to mandate these vaccines, or you're not. The children are not being allowed into certain public places. So we see Jacob's trouble. We're here, we're in it. It's the beginning of it. So these little events, take heed to them. They may not be going on in your, pay attention. They might not be going on in your respected location, but it's coming. So we got to prepare our hearts and our minds, our souls to be able to operate in the spirit and have a complete level of faith when they do reach where we are. So that being said, I'm gonna go into the title of today's lesson is humility in prophetic times, because as we are in prophetic times, it's important to analyze ourselves and make sure we're in the right spirit while these things are going on around the world. These floods in the Midwest, because I brought up Iran, but it's also on American soil as well. In the Midwest, there was a flood doing the same thing. Power plant explosions and fires and, wars, rumors of wars in Venezuela. It's happening. We're in it. So it's important that we want to keep our eyes open, right? Most High, Yeshua told us to watch and pray. So when we see these things going on, make sure we stay in that fervent prayer. All right, so we're going to open up to Isaiah chapter 57, verse 15. To start it off. And before we start, matter of fact, I have a question. What's the direct opposite of humility? Pride, right? Exactly, puffed up, pride. So can somebody operating in the spirit of pride, will that hinder anything written in the scriptures that's going to happen? No, right? So this is why, that's part of why this lesson is being brought forth, because being in that spirit of pride is not going to, you could be prideful all you want, and it could be those outside the walk as well as those in the walk. We want to make sure that we're in the spirit of humility. That's important. Humility is more important than honor. A lot of times we want to be honored. We got to look to be in a humble state of mind, in a humble spirit through these trials, through all this that's going on. Because during the prophecy, what could happen is Israel will get puffed up and feel prideful because they know who they are. And these things are happening. It's like, our kingdom is around the corner. And they'll get prideful when certain things happen. We want to stay in humility, because although Christ knew he was going to receive the dominion and the kingdom, he endured what he went through in humility. He didn't have no pride when he went through, knowing he had hundreds of thousands of angels at his disposal. No pride. Humility. We don't have none of that. So we want to make sure it's more imperative for us to be in humility, because we're not the Savior. If he could endure into blood and into bloodshed and death in a complete humility, then we haven't gone through anything yet. There should be no pride. All right, so let's start it up. Isaiah 57, verse 15. Yeah.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 15. For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones.
So this is speaking of Yeshaya, right? Read it one more time. Let's see. Let's. I want to point out a few things.
For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. So
for our spirit to be revived, we have to be in a humble state. We have to be in a humble state. We will completely be looked over if we're in in pride during these times. Because this is the time where people's spirits will be revived. There's a time we're at the finish line. We're at the very end. You know, and it's felt. And spiritually, everybody could feel it. Even people who are not spiritual, they look around. It's just pure turmoil and anguish all over the earth. So it's obvious. So we want, you know, again, humility. That's the name of the game tonight, right? Let's jump to Matthew chapter 13, verse 10. And that self-examination, you checking to see if there's any leaven left in your vessel. You want to take all percentages of pride away.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
So the mere fact that we have this understanding is a blessing. It's given unto us to understand the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, right? Read.
But to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand.
So although it may be some who they know they have eyes, but they can't see. They don't see the signs. They don't see all these things going on in the earth. They don't see. They don't. And it's not only those outside the body. Those in the body as well. We got to pay attention. You know, we cannot be bored with our election. Is when we see these things ramping up all over the earth, it should be game time. I don't care how long you've been in truth. You see what's going on? There should be no what's the word I'm looking for? Slothfulness in our spirits. There's war around the corner. Natural disasters are going on. These angels are turning up all over the earth, showing the saints, listen, it's time. What y'all doing? Get your spirits right. Y'all gonna be under the rod soon. So, you know, the mere fact that we have the understanding of these parables is a sign in itself. So let's not take it for granted, right? Keep reading.
And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them.
Right. So we see everything going on in the world, and it's like, it should be almost obvious. It's everything going on in the world, that's enough evidence to support our claims. You know, as followers of Christ and believers of the Bible, it should be. You think it'll be a no-brainer? Like, you see what's going on. I'm gonna go to them and show them everything happening in the world right now. I'm gonna show them in scriptures, and I'm gonna win them over. But it's like you said, they got eyes, can't see. Eyes can't see, ears but can't hear. Everything going on. I'm like, Wednesday we street preaching, and I had to do it. You know. It's like our people are more worried and concerned about the death of a rapper than worried and concerned about the death of our Savior.
Come on.
You know, and praise the Most High for our elders that they're able to use current events as talking points to magnify Christ. So I met them halfway. Oh yeah, you want to talk about this guy? Let's talk about. Oh, you respect his charity and you respect what he did here and there. All right, look what our Messiah did. Look what our Messiah did. Why we not looking at him that way? Why we not concerned about him dying that way? His death, you know, the cost of him dying was a lot more for us. He purchased salvation for all of us. So let's keep reading.
Verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them.
So let's not get bored with our election. We're living in that time. The apostles thought it was their time. Thousands of years went by. They thought it was their time. We're in the time that all the prophets, the apostles, the disciples, they wish they were able to see the things we're seeing. When they asked Christ, hey, how will we know when you're coming back? And Christ told them, well, he told them they're going to see the wars and rumors of wars. You're going to see, Jerusalem compassed with armies. They thought it was going to happen during their lifetime. So they were looking for it to happen. And then the way the scriptures are a living book, every generation following thought it was their time as well. So, but now is the time. Now is the time. It's, the scrolls, the seals have been broken, and certain understanding is being given to elders and people in the world at this point, and it's obvious the time that we're in, right? But let's keep reading.
Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it.
So there's different ground when it comes to the word being the seed. When we're witnessing to people, these people are different types of ground. There's a very important parable here. So you have those, right, who don't understand it. They don't understand it. Right, and as soon as the adversary gets a chance, the seed that you planted, he just takes it right away from them. Then there's those who are considered stony ground, where what happens is the seed takes root, but it's going to edify itself, and I'll continue. But keep reading.
Verse 21. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended.
By and by he is offended. So we want to make sure that we are not that stony ground. We want to make sure that we're not that stony ground. What is that stony ground? You hear about the truth, you find out who you are. It's hip hip hooray. You're happy. You put in the cart before the horse. You're not really ready to take on the what you signed up for, which is what? Being baptized into Christ's death. You signing up to go through what the Messiah went through. The people sign up without really analyzing what they're really signing up for, thinking that you come to the Most High, it's going to be peaches and cream. It's going to be flowers and butterflies skipping through a field. Absolutely not. Christ said, you're going to go through what I went through. Everything you see me go through, you're going to go through. So the stony ground is those who don't necessarily have the understanding of what they signing up for. They just looking at all the good things. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be protected. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I'm Israel. I got my own gate. They hyped about those things. All right, let's read.
Verse 22. He also that receiveth seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word. And the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful.
So there's also those that they hear the word, but they're compromised. They're like, yeah, I want to stay in this truth, but gotta get this money, gotta get that car. You know, they worried about things of the world, and it chokes the word. It chokes the word. More worried about worldly affairs than understanding that we're in a time of prophecy, that, you know, we should not care, not necessarily not care, but there's a list of priorities on our cares. Christ said, love not the world, entertain not the world. Entertain not the world, because those who entertain the world, the love of the Father is not in them. The love of the Father is not in them. So that's the thorny ground, right? Let's read.
Verse 23. But he that received the seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30.
So this is what we want to be. We want to be the good ground, right? That understandeth it and beareth fruit. You spreading the word, you helping people wake up, you got the fruits of the Spirit, people seeing Christ in you. That's what we have to be during these prophetic times. Okay, so now let's drop that. Let's go into the Apocrypha. Throw it out. Let's go into the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra chapter 8. 8 and 46.
Everybody there say con?
Eight and 46.
All right, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 46. Then answered he me, and said, things present are for the present, and things to cometh for such as be to come. For thou comest far short that thou shouldest be able to love my creature more than I. But I have oftentimes drawn near unto thee and unto it, but never to the unrighteous.
So read verse 47 again, because you got to understand there's a time for everything. That's what's being said here, right? The things present are for the present, and things to come for such as be to come. So the time that we're living in now, we have to be aware of the things going on and make a correlation to it to the Most High, right? But read verse 47.
Verse 47. For thou comest far short that thou shouldest be able to love my creature more than I.
How would people loving the creature of the Most High more than the only begotten Son? We reverencing the death of a creature, and not reverencing the death of our Messiah at a time like this. Not saying that, not to take anything away from those mourning a death, but it's out of control at this point now within our community, right? Read.
But I have oft times drawn nigh unto thee and unto it, but never to the unrighteous. Verse 48. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself, as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous.
And that's what, when you stay in humility, we're gonna always be sharpening ourselves. Always you humble, always looking for something to do, something to improve, constantly self-examining. Right? Read.
For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride.
They have done what?
They have walked in great pride.
So even in this truth, in latter times, the last thing we have to do, the last thing to do is be in a prideful spirit. Because being in a prideful spirit, we're going to be punished. We're going to be punished for it. And finding out your Israel comes with a sense of pride. But we have to rebuke that and come to the humility. Because guess what? The Old Testament is embarrassing. It's nothing to be prideful about. You find out you Israel. Our forefathers went all the way off. Went all the way off. Off the cliff into water, swam to a waterfall. All the way off. Right? Keep reading.
But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared. Plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom.
So this is what's waiting for us. So we don't want to get caught slipping. Put the pride to the side. Take that humility bag, put it on your back, and let's walk this straight and narrow, right? Let's go to Sirach chapter 10, verse 12. In the Apocrypha. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 12. From feast day to feast days is a point where we need to be leveling up. It's New Year, Lord's Passover. Got the leaven out. Let's keep the leaven out and continue to level up.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 10, verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker.
So this was what happened to Satan. Pride, right? So we don't even want a little bit of pride. Let's read.
For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead.
So all throughout history, we're going to see the prideful fall, right? All those that were prideful, they fell, right? Keep reading.
The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, and planted the lowly in their place. The Most High overthrew countries of the heathen, and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away, and destroyed them, and hath made their memorial to cease from the earth.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah. This place didn't learn, because spiritually this is the new Sodom and Gomorrah. So we don't want to get caught in that spirit of pride at all, because the Most High is stamped it like, I don't want y'all to be like this at all. And if we read in these scriptures, we should know that. But let's it's constant reminders. I don't want to be prideful about nothing. Let's get that out. Right? Read.
Pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman.
Read it one more time.
Pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman.
Why is that back to back? Because 9 out of 10 times when you're prideful, furious anger can follow because of your pride. It's like, nah, I'm not standing for that. I'm not taking that. That's pride. Christ didn't do that. He took it. He took it to the chin. He said, hit me right here. There was no pride. So we have to constantly self-examine ourselves. Our people don't we don't want to get offended. We don't want to. There's a lot of things going on. We have to be in a humble state, a lowly state. The Most High sees what's going on. Don't do the things that you're doing for yourself. We have to put the man away and put on for Christ. Right? So let's drop that. Let's go into Hebrews chapter 13, verse 7. Pride is the root of all evil and abomination, sin, furious anger. It said pride wasn't made for a man. It wasn't made for a man. Read something like that. You think pride is a manly thing. Like, I'm prideful. Yeah. Manly, right? No, absolutely not. Because then when you're angry and you're in your feelings, that's a feminine spirit. It's a feminine spirit. When you're in your feelings, feminine spirit. We got to be in this, contentment and temperance. We have to be temperate. Pride, it leaves room for you to be in your feelings. So let's read 13 and 7.
Is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 7. Remember them which have the rule over you.
Wait, start from verse 1. This is good context here.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
And the angels are among us. We in the last day here watching everybody. I mean, have a quick conversation with you to see what kind of spirit you're in. You know, Monday morning, you're not really in the mood. That's when the angel come talk to you. Hey, good morning. check to see where your spirit is. You understand? So, like it says, you know, thereby some have entertained angels unaware. So be careful, operate in that spirit at all times, right? Keep reading.
Remember them that are in bonds, as bond with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourselves also in the body.
That's charity. That's the only way you're going to relate. When people are going through things, put yourself in their shoes so you could try to understand them. Keep reading.
Verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, the Most High will judge. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee.
Be content. Because we all have the Most High. That should be enough. We need things in this world. That's a question. Over a higher? We don't need these things. We have the Most High. We don't need these things. Be content. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. I'm telling you. Because if you content, you're more. It's like you're inviting the spirit of joy. You're gonna be happy because you know you have the Most High. When you're not content, then the spirit of covetousness creeps in. I want this. I need that. If I don't have this, then I'm not happy. That's not of the Most High, right? Read.
Verse 6. So that we may boldly say, the Most High is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of the Most High, whose faith follow, considering the end of their conversation.
Remember them which have rule, the elders, ultimately under Christ. So we have to remember. We have to remember who we're following here. That we're under the Most High. We have to keep that in mind, that the angels on the Elohim have their eyes on us. They're not called watchers for a cool name. They're watching us. They're among us. We got to make sure that we in the spirit, that we're not caught in pride, constantly self-examining. Pray at times, repent. Right? Because we're in the time. It's not the time to be caught slipping. Somebody dying, it should be an eye-opener that our days are numbered. That could be me. But it say, something happens, put yourself in their shoes, right? That could have been me. It's like, wow, if I died right now, imagine that. So we wanna constantly consider, remember those that have rule over us, right? Spoken to us, the word of the Most High, whose faith follow. Those in the walk, our elders, and so on and so forth, right? So let's drop that and let's go to Romans chapter 13, verse 3. You could probably start at verse 1 on that too for context. 13 and 1.
Everybody there say con? The book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High.
So what does that mean? What's bound on earth is bound in heaven. So when we hear serving the elders, it's not the elders we're serving. Because the powers that be are ordained of the Most High. So as weird as this may sound, but Donald Trump can only be in office if the Most High allows it. The leaders around the world are in power because the Most High allowed it. Our elders of the churches are only in the position that they're in because the Most High allowed it. Right? So it says, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. When it comes to the government, things of that nature, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. When it comes to the church, keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Right? Keep reading.
Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High. And they that resisteth shall receive them to themselves damnation.
So this is all about a perspective thing. This is not knowledge. You have to understand that the person that you're under was chosen by the Most High. So ultimately, you disobedient to them. You're disobedient to somebody that the Most High put in power. So forget the personal, I don't like that brother for a second. You got to look at, it's the Most High that put him there. Right? Keep reading.
For rulers are not a terror to good works.
And rulers are not a terror to good works anyway, because you could have an argument that this person's mean, or I don't like how they come off, but they're not a terror unto good works. If you have a boss that's stern, if you're doing your job good, they're not just gonna come at you for no reason. They're not a terror unto good works, right? But read.
But to the evil.
But to the evil. If you're not doing your job, those powers are gonna come at you. Those powers that were set up are going to come at you, right? Read.
Wilt thou then not be afraid of the powers? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
Calm. That's Christ. Because when he's coming, he's not coming with flowers. He's coming with a sword, right? So we want to make sure all those people that he put in power, you take heed to them, and you make sure that you're subject unto them. Especially during these times. I'm going to keep saying that all through the lesson. It's important at all time, but during this time, it's like we are at. It's the fourth quarter, and it's like 2 minutes left. We want to win the game. Like, this is the last time let me try to do a trick shot. Let me see if this goes in. No, right? Let's go into 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Chapter 10, and you can start from verse. You can start from verse 1.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 1. Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold toward you. But I beseech you, that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh.
So he's checking himself. Even though he's in a position of power, he's like, listen, I can't be, too cocky with it, because then I'll be going off in layman terms, right? That's an attribute of the flesh. Even though I'm in the leadership position, I can't come off like rah, rah, rah. Y'all do this or else. He's saying that that's an attribute of the flesh. Although, I'm bold, but through Christ. But myself, I have to be humble and meek towards you, right? Read.
For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
So although we look around, we in the flesh and blood, the war that we facing is not flesh and blood, right? Read.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds.
It's a spiritual realm that we living in. We living in a spiritual realm. And I see, in the community, people, arguing about, how this brother passed. And it's because we are in a carnal mind. Because whether it's exhibit A or exhibit B, it's still the principalities and the powers that be, the spiritual wickedness in high places. We have to look at it with a spiritual eye. The war that we in is a evil versus good. That's it. So the evil powers that be is the ones that are ramping things up. Right? Let's read.
Verse 5. casting down imaginations.
So we got to cast down these imaginations. Come on.
And every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High.
And every high thing that is exalting itself against the knowledge of the Most High. Being in pride. I don't got to listen to, I don't care if that's happening. You reading the word of the Most High and people telling you to shut up. You got to cast down every imagination that's exalting itself above Christ, right? Let's read.
And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
Exactly. So that's why certain things have to be brought forth, that we analyze ourselves and, rebuke pride and make sure that we putting on humility, right? So let's go into Proverbs chapter 16. Verse 17.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 17. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud.
Better is it to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. You understand? So all throughout the scriptures is telling us that we need to be humble, lowly, content. Because read verse 16. Let's get the full context of why he said that, right?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 16. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver?
Exactly. So the wisdom of the Most High, the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High. You give it to them. The water. Yeah, the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Most High is going to overpower silver and gold at any day. So why I had him read that is because it says, better is it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly, right? Than to divide the spoil with the proud, than to be splitting money up with people who's getting it. Cause then comes a sense of pride there too. It's like, yeah, we getting this paper. What they doing over there? How much they making? Pride. It's better for you to be with the lowly, with a humble spirit. Yeah, I know, I could be making more. I'm gonna be in this lowly place, so I'm not tempted by Satan. I stay in this lowly situation in a humble spirit. That's hard for Yasharala to do, but God, it has to be said. Not saying don't be prosperous, was with these things was apply them with wisdom, was known to don't have to be said, but sometimes it got to be said. So we will run with it. So you think I should be poor, brother? You trying to say you should quit? Isaiah 14 and 12. Isaiah 14 and 12.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
How did Satan fall? How, right? How did this happen, right? Read.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, in the sides of the north.
Satan was like, I'm gonna flex too. The Most High's flexing. I need some of that. Right? Read.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Come on.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
So let's stop and think for a second. Say he wanted to be the man, right? He wanted to be the man. That's what does it say? Love not the world, because you're going to be caught up in the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, wanting to be the man, right? Read 15.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
That's what happens when you're trying to be the man. Pride, trying to be something that you're not. Woe unto him who think of himself something when he's nothing. In comparison to Christ and the Most High, we are nothing. From the dust we came, that's where we're going to return. So don't get caught. We can't get caught up in this flesh, right? Keep reading.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
So that's what happened to Satan. But in the spirit of pride, I mean, that's you the brother. You said you was going to be the man. Right? Read.
That made the world as a wilderness, and destroy the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet.
So that's what's going to happen to Satan ultimately. So God analyze what happened to people that went off, especially the first one, and see how he went off. What was his mindset? We want to make sure we don't have anything in common with that mindset. We don't want anything in common with what happened to him. He wanted to shine. Oh, okay. I don't want to shine. He wanted to be above. Oh, okay. I want to be lowly. He was prideful. Okay. I'm gonna be humble. That's how you get to the root of it, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 15. It's pride in these prophetic times. It is it's not going to be pretty. It's more profitable to be lowly, humble in the spirit of humility. Practice that. We're going through trials. It's easy to read the scriptures and think to yourself, yeah, I'm going to be humble and let me practice humility. You gotta try. This is what I was saying during the New Year, because it was one of my personal goals to really apply the scriptures real time when it's opportunity, when something has you ticked off. Be loving during that time. As much as you upset, you probably want to rebuke that spirit and just be loving. Try it real time. That's when you apply these things. Because when you just reading it, everything is smooth. Everything's a cool little breeze outside. Sun is shining, 75-degree days. Oh, there's some good wisdom here. You studying, you memorize the precept. It's for naught if the opportunity comes and you don't apply it. Let's read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 15. Only the Most High had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day.
So the Most High ultimately had delight in our fathers to love them, not us. We didn't do nothing. His delight was in Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. That's whose delight was in. That's who the promises went through. We just here, we got it through default. We're the seed. We didn't do anything. So there's nothing to be prideful for. Abraham's the one that had faith to bring his son to the altar, his only son. He's the one who was obedient to that extreme. To that extreme. But something we don't think about. How if you was asked to sacrifice your only child. Your only child that you begged him for it first. You finally got it. Then he's like, I need you to sacrifice him. A lot of us will give pushback, but I just got him. But that's how extraordinary his faith was set up. He did it with shoulder shrugs. Something we don't take into consideration. Deacon Shamal brought this forth. If I'm not mistaken, I think he read it in some extra writings. He willingly did it because he knew the power he served. He's like, I know for sure he's going to bring him back to life. I can do this because I know he'll just bring him back. Never thought about that. We serve in the Most High. He put us in a tight situation. It's not to make us die in that situation. We're going to get out of it. But he's trying to show us something. He's trying to maybe test our obedience. One, he's trying to strengthen our fortitude during when things get tough. You put in a tight situation so that you could get stronger. When you in the gym and your trainer puts another 45 plate on, it's not to make you, die. You're going to get stronger. So let's go into Romans chapter 2, verse 25. So the time is approaching. So, he's our trainer. The Most High is our trainer. Those plates, those plates is getting added on. It's time to get in shape. Wilderness is around the corner. So don't think it strange, the fiery trial. We're going to go through things. We getting prepared for something. Everything we're going through now is nothing. The world gets a lot crazier and we flee and, we're being persecuted. And we got to be in the spirit there. We're going to be called to be in the spirit in those extreme environments. So the environment now is nothing. It's nothing, right? Let's read.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 25. For circumcision verily proveth if thou keep the law.
Profiteth,
if thou keep the law. But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision.
So, circumcision is a custom of Israel, If you be in Israel and you not, by blood and you're not keeping the law and you prideful, you doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, then you's better off not being Israel. So that's always should be, something to remember. And we don't know, nobody knows, I'm going to say nobody knows 100% that they're Israel. I'm throw that out there. Because you ask certain people, well, if you wasn't Israel, would you still be following Christ? And only their heart knows the answer. I mean, them and the Most High. But we all got to ask ourselves that question. Because if you're only doing a walk because you think you have a gate, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're supposed to serve Christ either way. So that prideful spirit of being Israel shouldn't be the reason why you're here. Because you have people give pushback. Oh, now I know I'm Israel, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make, that shouldn't be your bread and butter of why you're here. Right? Let's go into Baruch chapter 2, verse 27. Get up to that gate. Oh, Esau, yeah, you're on the outside. Esau, but I was on my forefather. Yeah, Baruch in the Apocrypha, chapter 2 and 27. That would be so embarrassing. You so prideful. You know who I am? Tribe of Judah. Get to the gate. Yeah, Esau, you're on the outskirts. Spent every day street preaching, telling people who you are. They ain't say nothing about Christ. Just kept telling them who you are. That pride, man, kick that stuff out. Let's read.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 27. O Most High, our power, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness, and according to all that great mercy of thine, as thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying.
So hold on. So the Most High, thou has dealt with us after all thy goodness and according to all that great mercy of thine. That's the only reason he dealt with us, because of his mercy and his greatness. Nothing we did, right? So let's keep reading.
Verse 29. If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them.
Yeah, because together we're like the sand of the sea. The Most High had to really split us up into everybody's country. So we're the minority all over the world in their countries. Right? So keep reading.
For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves.
He had to humble us in the land of our captivities. All together we was prideful. How can any nation stop us? Like 3 million deep. So all right, we're going to scatter you all over the world. Now you have no choice but to be humble. Right? Read.
And shall know that I am the Most High their power. For I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name.
They shall think upon my name. And that's what happened. Ironically, that's literally what happened. After a while, I start wondering, what's the Most High's name? That's when you catch people. People didn't really, Christians their whole life, I never really thought about what's really his name. Changed their whole life. Wow, I was here the whole time. And then you start realizing you lied to. It's like, Jay's only 600 years old. What? And then you digging deeper and deeper. James chapter 4, verse 1. And things like that could only happen to people who have humility. Because they didn't learn in their whole life. Some people get a sense of pride. But those who are truly in the scriptures know that they have to stay humble. And then they're able to be like, babes weaned from the milk. Be humble. Here you go. You could receive this understanding. Chapter 4, verse 1.
This is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 1. From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even your lust that war in your members? Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have, and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not.
So that's this key right here. He says, from whence come wars and fighting among you? So just picture the Most High saying, what are y'all fighting over? He's looking down on earth like, what are y'all fighting for? Y'all doing all this lusting, still don't got nothing. Doing all this killing and desiring stuff, right? Still can't obtain it. Fighting and wars and have not. Because ye ask not. Not acknowledging the power. Not acknowledging the great I am that I am. Anything that's in existence is because of the all existing. So we gotta be humble and come before the throne if we want something. Sometimes we go, try to seek it ourselves. Let's just ask the Father. Ask him and wait on it. He'll give it to you. If you're in your righteousness. Keep reading.
Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust.
So again, too, why you're asking for something is also important. Most High tries our hearts. Say, we ask amiss. You asking me for the wrong reason. You asking it for lustful stuff. Ask for it to further the works, to spread the gospel, to exalt Christ's name. Ask for those things. Right? Read.
Verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulterers, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High?
So read it again.
Ye adulterers and adulterers, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High?
So why this is spiritual here. Being adulterers and adulteresses spiritually. Having friendship with the world. This is the last time, last time in history when we want to be guilty of that. Keep reading.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High.
It's an enemy of the Most High, automatically. There's no gray area. You're a friend with the world, Most High looking at you like, you're not on my side. You worried about those things down there? Scriptures say focus on heavenly things. We got to focus on heavenly things. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. That means it's right around the corner. So let's focus on those things. Let's stack our treasures in heaven. Let's try to get our spirits right. Let's try to love one another. Let's try to get unified in the faith that we could heal one another with a tap. Say, oh, brother, you got a cold? Got you. Why you didn't say something earlier? Let's drop that and go into Isaiah chapter 42. And you can start at verse 20.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 20. Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not.
Salakia, jump up to 19.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 19.
Wait, hold on. This is good right here. Hold on.
Verse 1?
Nah. All right, 15. Start from 15.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 15.
14. All right, 14. That's the final one.
13. Let's start at 13. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42.
That's the spirit out. 13.
Verse 13. The Most High shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies.
Come on.
I have long time holden my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once.
Everybody wonder what's going on around the world, right? So he held his peace for thousands of years. Now it's turn up time. Read.
I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make their rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools.
Come on.
And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them.
So what is that? That's all these reprobate minds thinking pedophilia is okay. Thinking LBGT is all right. One of my ox sent me an article. I forget where the church is, but the church is now allowing homosexuals to baptize their children. This is like today or yesterday's news. Like before they were holding up, standing firm against it. I guess it was causing, problems and strife. Now they open the gates up. So this is what it's talking about. The blind people, those that really can't see, that have those spiritually they can't see, they think those ways are straight. Like, yeah, we can't judge them. That's not right. Most High Christ gonna judge you and it's gonna be right. Read.
They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, ye are our gods. Hear, ye deaf, and look, ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messengers that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Most High servant? Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but heareth not. The Most High is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith, restore.
So that's Israel. That's Israel. What is there to be prideful about? There are more people incarcerated right now than there were slaves. More people in jail right now, more of our people in jail right now than there were slaves during the time of slavery. Because if you know anything about jail, that's slavery. These people being treated crazy. That's a whole lesson in itself as well. But we have so much work to do that there's no room for pride. There's no room for pride. We got to humble ourselves. Come on. Romans 3:3. Most High is talking. We see his wrath all through the earth. So it's like a natural disaster weekly. Weekly for the past like 2 years is of biblical proportions. Something crazy happens every week. If it's not in, this side of the world, it's in the east, right? Let's read.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 3.
Start from verse 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of the Most High.
So we know our forefathers received the oracles, so, that's the advantage. We received the law. Spiritually, we're going to have a better understanding of it, right? But it's still not a reason to be prideful, because if we got the law, we should keep the law, right? Read.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?
So in our evangelizing and trying to spread this truth, does somebody not believe in make these scriptures without effect? Read.
God forbid.
Absolutely not. Come on.
Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
So let the Most High be true and every man a liar. So we can't stand on our own righteousness, but only through Christ we're saved. So even that takes a level of humility. That you don't even stand on your own rap sheet. I only have a percentage of a chance because of our Savior. There's no room for pride and feeling people getting overly righteous and things of that nature. We're all wicked. We're filthy rags. It's only because of Christ that we even have a shot. So there's no room for somebody to be overly righteous over somebody else. No room. Everybody should be humble and encourage our neighbors and our brothers and sisters to be humble as well. Matthew chapter 15, verse 7. And when you're there, say, Con.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 7. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draweth near unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
And that's what we're going to be judged for. That's the crazy part. It's our heart. It's our heart. Why are you doing the things you're doing? Forget what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. It's what it is. And only you and the Most High knows that. That's the crazy part. That's why the parable of the wheat and the tares is so, it could be a mystery to some, especially if you know what it looks like. A wheat and a tare look exactly the same if you look at it. You see you be in a highway, you look to the right, and it's that tall grass, those little seeds at the top. The wheat and the tare, that's how they look. They both look the same way when they're fully grown. Look exactly the same. Walk the same, go to Shabbat the same, fringe the same, hair covered the same, trying to be, saying shalom with a big hug the same. Till you get before the seat of Christ. You going that way. I never knew you. So we want to constantly make sure we are in the right spirit. And that's what only you can do that. Everybody could make it look real good. But if that smile is fake. If that hug was fake. Only and the Most High know. Angels too. So stay spiritual with it. Examine yourself constantly. The scripture says, Paul was crying, warning the church in Corinth. He was crying, telling them to, refrain themselves from heresies. That's what it was. refrain themselves from those things. He was crying, begging them not to, because he had a testimony. He seen hell. He seen certain things. So he was compelled. Like, I don't wish that on any of you. I love you all. Please just examine yourselves. Rebuke pride. His spirit was compelled. The way I love everyone in here, I could cry the same way and just say, listen, I pray we all make it to the kingdom, We got to get in there. It's going to be hurtful to see my brothers and sisters who I love, most high willing, I make it, not there. Or vice versa. Y'all make it and I'm not there. So encourage me the same way. Pray for me. We got to pray for each other. We cannot be prideful. We have to be in humility and walk this narrow path and help one another and love one another sincerely. Not just make it look like love because you know the scriptures say you have to love. Really love them. But the scriptures tell us how, because it's not easy. You got to put yourself in their shoes. You got to put yourself in their shoes. Go through what they're going through. Try to imagine. Care enough to ask, how's everything going? If they sick, you got to understand, you got to put yourself in their shoes. Imagine how it feels to be that way. You know what I mean? Reach out, keep them in your prayer. The Most High knows. He sees all. That's what it's really about, right? Finish it out.
Verse 9. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goeth into the man's mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man.
What you say? That's more important. What's coming out of your mouth? Is it words of compassion? Is it words of love? Or is it pride? Is it a sense of pride? Is it a sense of envy? A sense of jealousy? What's coming out? These words that you're saying, do you have a hidden agenda behind what you're saying? It's the words that you're saying that matter the most, right? Read.
Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind leadeth the blind, both shall fall into a ditch.
Come on.
Then answered Peter and said unto him, declare unto us this parable. And Yeshua said, are ye also yet without understanding? Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the drought? But those things which proceed out of the mouth cometh forth from the heart, and they defile the man.
So that's the explanation why what you say is so detrimental to your salvation. Why it's being judged so hardly. Because what you say is a manifestation of what's in your heart. It had to be here first. It had to be here. The heart and the mind is synonymous. You had to be on your thoughts before your mouth said it. And that's what the Most High is trying. It's like, wow, this was a prideful person. Wow, you are jealous. You're envious. These things come out. Depending on what you're saying, that's what it's showing. You showing your heart, right? Keep reading.
For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies.
And we have to rebuke them right there. Don't let them come out, right? Let's drop that and go to John chapter 10, verse 1. Sin starts in your heart first, in your mind first. So that's what everything Christ was asking us to do was next level. He's like, oh, you heard, killing a man, you're going to be judged. But don't even hate him. Don't even, hate your brother. Let's get to that point. Stop it up here. Don't even let it manifest. Stop it in the mind. Ten and 1.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 10, verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
Right? Christ is that door, right? So Christ is the only way. So you trying to get into the kingdom any other way, it's thief and a robber. What are you doing? There's only one way. I told you it was only one way. What you doing back there? Come out of the backyard. Read.
But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice.
And the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. So this is real. It's simple and simple sounding, but we have to understand this because we evangelists. We trying to wake our people up, right? But it says here, start from verse 2 again.
St. John chapter 10, verse 2. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
So those that do choose to enter in through that door, which is Christ, are shepherd, meaning that you're going to be gathering other sheep, right? Read.
To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out.
And leadeth them out. So the sheep will know your voice. It's not a forceful thing. When the shepherd calls his sheep, they come. They're not stubborn with their shepherd. They know his voice and they go. It's not a hard thing. It's not forceful, right? Read.
And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice.
Come on. So they'll follow their shepherd. He go before them, which means goes in front of them and walk and go and call them. They're coming with him, right? Keep reading.
And a stranger they will not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers.
They know not the voice of strangers. Check that out. Who are the strangers? The powers that be, the spirits, these demons. They know that we gotta decipher and pray for that discernment to know the difference from in your thoughts when a spirit is trying to tempt you versus when it's the Most High. Because Christ's sheep, they're not gonna follow the stranger's voice. So we get caught, you following the stranger's voice, that's a red flag. It's a red flag. I'll be scared. You gotta be scared. Wait, I'm not his sheep. It's here in plain, it's red letters. And the stranger will they not follow. Right? Keep reading.
This parable spake Yeshua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake of.
Because it sounds so simple. Like, why is he talking about sheep and shepherds? Yeah, I mean, sheep is gonna follow the shepherd, yeah, and they didn't get it. All right, keep reading.
Then said Yeshua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep.
So now he's breaking it down. I'm the door, right? Read.
All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them.
Speaking of the Pharisees, those that came before me, they robbing. They thieves, man. Read.
I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
I had a conversation with my good brother Micah down in Atlanta, and we was having a conversation about this. He said, the thief cometh not but for to steal. Steal what? Your joy, your happiness, your happy spirit. Your spirit is on high. They want to steal that away. You too happy. Your spirit is too high. I need that. To kill and to destroy. So anytime that happens, we know you got to have the discernment like, wait a minute, this is trying to steal my joy. This is trying to steal my happiness. That's not of Christ. It's not of Christ. Because what does Christ come? Read the second half of that verse. I am
come that they might have life.
That they might have life. That your spirit, you have life. You happy, you joyous. That's what Christ came, right? Read.
And that they might have it more abundantly.
That they might have it more abundantly. So if you have it already, he's going to come and make your spirit even higher. Not take it away or lower it or check you for being happy. Only Satan do that. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. 7, verse 13.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
So we know this. I'm going here because we know that the gate is the path is very narrow. Only one person could go at a time. It's a straight gate. That means it. The way we were taught grace in the past, it contradicts the straight gate, straight and narrow path. It can't be that much wiggle room. It's not that much wiggle room. Humility in the time of these prophecies, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Let's end off with Revelation chapter 22 and 14. Book of Revelation chapter 22, verse 14.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
So this is what we're going to strive to do. We got to get into the kingdom of heaven, right? All right, let's give the Most High a round of applause. All praises to the Most High Ahaya, so Ahaya Basemi Shai, Rawchaa. At this time, we're going to open up the floor. Anybody has any questions or comments, now is the time. Just raise your hand. Question or comments? Okay, brother. Mic is coming. Yeah, just make sure it's on. Yeah.
Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Now, I just wanted to ask from Hebrews 13, if when the angels appear unawares, if the angel could have been like a Gentile, could they come as a Gentile?
That's a good question. Of course. Okay. Of course. Of course. That's a good question. But of course he can come as a Gentile. Got one behind you.
Oh.
Shalom. Wow.
Shabbat shalom.
Yo, turn down the volume for that, brother.
To land back on what you were saying, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, 14 to 17.
2, 14 through 17?
God.
You can read it.
My voice too deep.
We need a voice of many waters. Bring it out. Voice of many waters, baby. Bring it out.
It's Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 14. It says, woe unto you that have lost patience. When you lose patience based on, you pride. You feel like you got it. I ain't got to do nothing. I got this. So you lose patience. You get irritated. That's one. And it says, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? That lands back on what you were saying. When you go to verse 15, it says, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that. Will seek which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. Verse 17, this is for you right here. It says, they that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their soul in his sights.
I'm on. So much more. We got to prepare our hearts and humble our souls. This is the time.
Hold on, one more. Two more.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
I have one question. So, as a young man trying to become a real righteous man, the two things I noticed that I slack up on is my patience and trying to control like my emotions and not let them rule me in the moment when I need to be able to speak to people and just try to get them to come to the truth. So can you bring out to me what scriptures I can read to help me to build my patience and to build my emotional fortitude, so I don't let my emotions rule over me?
Well, your emotions being led over you is an attribute of the flesh, and you want to be in the spirit with that, right? So let's go into Galatians 5. And you can start from 14, and we're going to read down to the end of the chapter. Listen carefully. I'm going to edify, but listen carefully.
So Galatians 5 and
14.
It's the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 14. For all the laws fulfilled in one word, even this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Come on.
But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another.
That's key right there. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. That's arguing and going back and forth and things of that nature. That's what happens, right? Read.
This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
Come on, walk in the spirit, ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. It's going to edify.
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these things are contrary one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
So it's normal. What you just spoke about is normal for you to go back and forth with yourself. You're trying to get it right. You're trying to apply it at the time, but it's hard. That's that fight within you, the spirit versus the flesh, right? Keep reading.
But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law.
But if ye be led of the spirit, then you're not under the punishment of the law. You understand that? Keep reading.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these.
So these are the works of the flesh, right? Come on.
Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envious, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like.
And such like. So all those and everything that you could categorize into one of those is an attribute of the flesh. So this is what you're going back and forth in a situation where you may want to apply it. One attribute of the flesh might come out. Your patience might not be there because you're irritated. You know what I mean? That's right along the lines of strife and it's pretty much your flesh taking over. So you want to live in the spirit. You want to be in the spirit, right? Keep reading.
Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High.
So that right there should be the red alarm for you. That should help you. Operating in any of those spirits, you will not inherit the kingdom of God. This is what we're striving for. So when it's crunch time and you're in an opportunity to apply it, just think to yourself, I got to do this. We got to put the pressure on ourselves to do this, because anything else in the world we put our pressure to do. You want that promotion, you going to go hard to do it, right? You want that promotion, that job, you showing up on time, you cleaning, you doing all the extra stuff, worldly wise, to get a promotion. This is the biggest promotion ever, the kingdom of the Most High. So think about it. If you low in your spirit and you battling yourself when it comes to opportunity to put on Christ, put it on, because that's your opportunity right there to get the promotion, right? And not be stripped of your reward. Because if you fail, And Most High forbid you don't get to repent. You get caught up in that. That's the last thing you have on your rap sheet. You know the end, right? Weeping and gnashing of teeth. But let's keep reading.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering.
And that long suffering that comes along with patience. That you're able to suffer for a long time in meekness and joy. You could relax. You could suffer it. You could be in that situation that you're uncomfortable in. What you want to happen is not necessarily happening at that point in time, but you relax. You're not raising hell because it's not happening, right? Read.
Gentleness
and a gentle spirit. Come on.
Goodness.
Come on.
Faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
And these things all complement one another. All complement one another. You have faith in the Most High, you're going to have joy. You're going to be able to be long-suffering. Why? Because you have your peace. Because you operated in meekness when you was talking to people, so they treat you a certain way, right? So you have no reason to not be temperate, because you happy. You in the spirit. You at peace. So you have control over yourself because you have faith in the Most High. It all connects, right? Keep reading.
And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust.
So they that are Christ have crucified the flesh. When we get in that water, what do you think happened? Crucified the flesh. Old man, sayonara. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we got to do. The old man, he got to be out of here. He has to be out of here. And it's not a magic trick. We got to do it. A lot of people think it's just a magic trick. It's not a magic trick. We have to do it, right? Read.
If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit.
If we live in the Spirit, what?
Let us walk in the Spirit.
Let us what?
Let us also walk in the Spirit.
Let us walk in the Spirit. We have to. It's a commandment. You have to be joyous. You have to be long-suffering. You have to be happy. You have to be operate in meekness and be humble and be temperate in your spirit. It means self-control. Something happens, you're not rah-rah. You temperate. Relax. Long suffer for a bit. Right? Read.
Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another.
So Most High will meditate on that. Galatians 5. Always remember that. Keep that close, bro. So I hope that answered your question. Praise the Most High.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So you spoke about humility and like trying to refrain from pride. So that reminded me of 1 John 15 through 17, and it kind of just talks about that as well.
1 John 15 through 17. I'll read it for you. 1 John 15. Go ahead, get it, Jim. 1 John.
What? 1 John 15. No, 1 John 15.
Verse 15?
2 and 15, okay.
2 and 15, okay.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Right, come on.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Exactly, that pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Read.
And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
Exactly. This world's on the way out. Everything and all those lusts of the world is on the way out as well. So, yeah, the water for that precept goes light in line. You had a question with it, or you just wanted to? Oh, okay, praise the Most High. The water says.
How you doing? I just wanted to see if I can help you with your situation. One of the ways that you can deflect a certain situation is, first, if you can leave the situation and then ask them to say, can I speak to you back in a few minutes? And then leave the situation, go out and just break, and then come back and deal with it. If you can't, the best thing to do is take like 2 deep breaths right in front of the person. But you could do it without the person actually knowing. So you take 2 deep breaths, and that will give you some time to kind of calm yourself down and allowing you to reflect and a better answer.
The wisdom of the elders, the water, man. Praise the Most High.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, praise the Most High, excellent lesson. This comment isn't too much for me, but Brother Yashar, he says, great lesson, and he sends his blessings. But he also wanted to add and edify your question. Jimmy, could you read Romans chapter 5?
Brother Yashar, Shabbat Shalom. Upstate New York, texting in, live, real time.
Romans 5 and what?
1 through
5.
6. This will help you with your question, Demetrius,
Right,
as well.
He got an edification for that too? Or?
No, just read
This
it.
this is the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
Tribulation worketh patience. So when you're going through these trials, it's to work your patience. When you're at work and somebody's in your face trying you, it's to work your patience. You don't become a good sailor in calm waters. For you to be patient, you have to be put through things. That's what I was saying. So when these things are going on, don't think it's strange. You got to be tried. It's the only way you're going to build it up. So when the real thing comes, you're like, man, you know how much co-workers I have to deal with? This is nothing. You went through it enough, you could apply it, right? Real time. Is there more on that? What verse you said to go to?
He says to go to 16 or? Oh,
6. Keep,
all
come
right.
on.
And patience, experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of the Most High is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us.
What are you hoping for? Kingdom of heaven. That's why I say keep it in mind that the attributes of the flesh is going to keep you out. So you got to know that the fruits of the Spirit going to keep you in. You hoping for the kingdom of heaven. You hoping for these things that's going to keep you in the right mindset, right? Read.
For when we were, verse 6, for when we were yet without strength, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly.
Exactly. When you without strength, when you think you ain't God no more, he died. He died for you. Always remember that. You gotta think. That's deep. That's deep there. He died for you to have a chance. You going through a little argument with somebody. That's nothing. He died. You know? So that's gonna help you. When you without strength, it's like, yeah, Yeshua died. I didn't suffer unto blood and death. Let me just hold this little situation down. So, all praise to the Most High, Brother Yeshua. The water on that? Okay, come on. That's it? One more? Ecclesiastes 3 and 28. Ecclesiastes, not in the Apocrypha, right? In the Apocrypha? Ecclesiastes 3 and 28. Go ahead, Jimmy.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, verse 8.
28.
Oh, 28. In the punishment of the proud there is no remedy, for the plant of wickedness hath taken root in him. The heart of the prudent will understand a parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man.
So that pride, once you let that thing take root, it's over. It takes root, and then you gonna receive your recompense. So we don't want that. And at the end of the day, we don't want that. The water for bringing that forth too. Yeah, we could go all day with pride. The Most High is against pride. We go all day in the scriptures. Turn the 100 precepts straight of pride. So that's another reason to cast it down, right? We have one more from the princess. Okay, praise the Most High for the youth. You got a question, sis? What's it? What is it? Don't be shy. You shy? You don't want to ask? All right. She said she gonna ask Daddy. Oh, you got it written down?
Yeah. Which one? This last one? Right. Why is the heart far from them? Excuse my voice.
Wow. Why is their hearts far from them?
I think she's talking about Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13, when he said they draw near me, their mouths, their hearts are far from me.
Okay, because their actions, they draw near to me with their mouth and their speech. So you hear people, praise the Most High, I love God, I love Christ, and things of that nature, right? But they saying it with their mouth, but their heart doesn't really mean it. How do you know that their heart doesn't really mean it? Because they're not they're not putting their best effort to be loving, to put love first. You understand? And their heart is bad feelings. They feel hatred and they feel envy in their heart. But their mouth, they're smiling and they saying cheese and pitches and they saying I love you and shalom. But then their heart is very mean things. You understand? So what you're saying has to match what you feel inside. You understand? That answers your question? A little bit? You don't know. You understand? If the Most High, because the Most High is watching us. So what we say, it has to match how we feeling. So you can't just say, I love you, and it's fake. Because if you say, I love you, that means I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to do what you asked me to do. The Most High asks us to be nice. He asks us to be loving. He asks us not to steal. He asks us to keep his commandments, right? So we can't just say, I love you, Father, and then we're not doing what he says. Most High said, honor your mommy and your daddy. So if you love the Most High, you got to honor daddy and mommy. Right? All right. Praise the Most High. All right. So, let's give the Most High one more round of applause. Bring it in the Shabbat. The great I am that I am. Ahaya. Ba Shem Yeshai Wa Kwadash. And I'm going to yield. And at this time, I'm going to yield and give the floor to Brother and Officer Hazak.
Give it up one more time for the Most High. The Most High could be praised infinitely. There's no number to his praise. You understand? So praise the Most High for allowing, Officer Zachariah to bring forth this timely lesson. Just sitting there, I'm just thinking about, I was just creating a lot of analogies in my mind while he was talking and going through what he was going through. When we first come into this world, it's like we got a credit score of 800 for those of you guys who know about credit. A lot of you younger folk might not know about credit yet, but y'all get there if Babylon is still standing. So it's like we got an 800 credit score when we first come into this world. And as we live, we spend that credit on vanity. And here comes Christ, the credit repair. Con? Christ is the ultimate credit repair. But I wanna share this, this is something that I want to make it my business to do every week, if the Most High, permits. To just tell everybody that what we're doing in here, keep it up. We're fulfilling what the Most High intended us to be. And a lot of us don't even realize that when the Most High created the Sabbath, he had us in mind. He had the children of Israel in mind to keep the Sabbath with him. You understand? And this is why I like to make it an open invitation to those who's online. Make it your business to find a gathering of Christ church in your area. Because I'm telling you, pretty soon, these online platforms ain't going to be here. Your Twitter, your MySpace, right? Instagram, Facebook, all these platforms not going to be here. Even YouTube, that the Most High allowed us to still be able to speak to our brothers and sisters using this platform. But it's not going to be here because, like what I said, a lot of the things that we going through online, you're not going to see here. You understand? Like, there's a lot of things that we do amongst the body that you're not going to be able to partake in. One thing I want to read with you real quick. I want to show you guys this. Not going to be long-winded. Because I know a lot of you look at me like, this brother about to preach. I'm trying to eat. But we gonna eat, trust. Right? And I'm in the book of Jubilees, right? I want to just share this real quick with our family online. So in the book of Jubilees, chapter 1, I'm going to read it right here. I'm going to start right here. I don't want to be too long. So I'm going to start at verse 10. For great is the honor which the Most High have given to Israel, right? That they should eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day. And this festival day is talking about the Sabbath day. We're actually in the Sabbath day. We're actually bringing off the Sabbath the right way, right? He said, I'm reading it again. He said, for great is the honor which the Most High have given to Israel, that they should eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day, and rest thereon from all their labor, which belongeth to the labor of the children of men, right? So the Most High allowed us to enjoy this Sabbath with him. And where it says festival day, let me read the definition for the word festival so you guys can understand. What we're doing in here is actually ordained in the heavens. You guys got to understand that. So when we come together to eat and drink, just know that they're eating and drinking and they celebrating in the heavens with us. We got to understand that this is special, right? And this is why I'm encouraging our brothers and sisters online. Don't just be satisfied with the online thing, because you're missing out what the Most High actually intended the Sabbath to be. Look at this. Look at the definition for the word festival, brothers and sisters. Festival means pertaining to a feast, joyous, mirthful. So everybody should be pleasant, happy, right? As a festival entertainment, the time of feasting, an anniversary day of joy. So basically, the Sabbath is a feast. Joyous time, breaking bread, everybody getting to know each other, building the bond of brotherhood and sisterhood. So this is what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Don't be following these people, who be online talking to a camera screen and just them by themselves. We're probably just a brief on, just talking. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? The purpose of what the Most High did is to bring the people together. You understand? All power and may the Most High bless their souls, but find teachers that's setting up the churches the way Christ intended it to be, the way it was ordained in the heavens. I understand a lot of our brothers and sisters I understand a lot of our brothers and sisters don't have the opportunity to probably gather with a body in their area. But if those of you who can and you choose not to, you need to question yourself. You understand? You need to question yourself. If you're questioning your lifestyle, you're questioning your walk, you got to start doing that. If you question whether you should get baptized or not, you're not ready, question that. You understand? Because I know anybody here afraid of water? Y'all afraid of water? There's a lot of water out there for our brothers and sisters to come and repent and be baptized and join the flock. You understand? And come in and be a part of what we're doing. So, I'm going to bid you all Godspeed, because I'm about to commune with the brothers and sisters in the room and feast. Hopefully one day you guys could get here, because I'm telling you, man, you guys are missing out on a lot of things that the church has to offer. So like I say every week, you could have been anywhere on a Friday night, but you're here with the Gathering of Christ Church, and we appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and we're going to bid you all Godspeed until next week, Most High willing. Kwam Yashala. Praise Ahaya.
Shalom and Barakathon. Peace and blessings. We are the Gathering of Christ Church, New York City, a family who adheres to the sacred laws of the earth administered to Christ down to his father's children of Israel, whom are scattered abroad. We would like to invite you to join us in our law classes, which are held every Sabbath beginning at 1 p.m. during the winter season and 2 p.m. during the summer season, under the tutelage of Regional Elder Gabar and leadership. Since nations are built on families, our focus is to awaken our people, bring them back to their original heritage which was once forgotten, and to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, together as one under Christ. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.